To form the construct state of a noun, there are changes both to the ending of the noun and commonly also changes internal to the noun. The basic concept to keep in mind is the idea that the formation of the construct state is usually a shortening of some type. For instance, the construct forms of the nouns sus, horse, are as follows: sus, susei, and susei for the construct forms of the masculine singular, dual, and plural, and susat, susate, and susot for the feminine singular, dual, and plural. You will note then that the masculine singular form, sus, and the feminine plural form, susot, have no change between construct form and absolute form of the noun. In the cases then of masculine singular or feminine plural nouns, context will be necessary to determine if you are working with an absolute noun or a construct noun. In the other forms, however, you will notice that the endings of the construct forms show a change. The dual and plural in the masculine have lost the final mem. The singular in the feminine has shown the comet's hey shortened to a patak tab, and the dual feminine has also lost the final mem ending. These ending changes are regular. In the feminine singular, the a ending of the comet's hey changes to at. For instance, the absolute form Torah ending in comet's hey, the construct form Torat, law of, as in Numbers 6:21, Torat HaNazir, the law of, construct form, the Nazarite, absolute form. Note again that the hey of the definite article is only indicated on the absolute noun, but the phrase as a whole is translated as definite, the law of the Nazarite. The masculine plural ending in the absolute form of in the construct form changes to a. For instance, we have the absolute Elohim, God or gods, but in construct Elohe. For instance, Judges 6:10, Elohe ha'emori, gods of, construct form, ha'emori, definite article he plus emori, Amorite, the proper noun. Note that the definite article has the longer vowel, comets, because the following letter is a guttural and cannot double. The gods of the Amorites. And again, note that the definite article he is only present on the absolute noun, but in translation is reflected at the start of the phrase because the entire phrase is considered definite. Finally, the dual ayim ending will change also to a, with the tsere yod. You have the absolute form, shifatayim, lips, but the construct form, shiftei, lips of. For instance, Proverbs 5:3, shiftei zara, lips of, and that is the absolute form, the construct form with the tsere yod. Zara, the absolute form, a prohibited woman. Now in this case we say the lips of a prohibited woman because a woman could only have one set of lips, so they are identifiable in the sense of the English phrase. There are other changes involved in the formation of a construct form besides simply the changes in endings. The majority of these other changes occur because a construct form of a noun is often pronounced with the following absolute noun as a single unit. What that means is construct forms will often lose their own accentual stress, and the construct chain would be read for purposes of stress as if it were a single word. the loss of stress by the construct form will cause 5 types of additional changes in construct nouns. First, vowels will tend to shorten. A tsere will often become a sagol in a single syllable noun, a monosyllabic noun. So we have Bane in the absolute form, a son, but Ben in the construct form, son of. For instance, 2 Samuel 13:1, Ben David, the son of David. We say the because David, being a proper noun, is definite. Also, final comets will often become a patak, again a shortening of the vowel. So yad, the absolute form, but yad, the construct form with the shorter vowel. For instance, Exodus 9:3, Yad Adonai, the hand of the Lord. Again, because Adonai is a proper noun, the whole phrase is definite. In this case, you notice then a vowel shortening once the stress is taken away from the construct form. Second, there are other changes in noun endings, particularly that final sagol he will become instead a tsere he. So this example is the breaking of the rule of thumb. The rule of thumb is usually that things become shorter in the formation of a construct form. But we have machaneh, the absolute form, a camp, but machaneh, a camp of, in the construct form, with the short vowel sagol becoming a longer vowel tsere. For instance, Numbers 2:16, machaneh Reuven, the camp of Reuben. Machaneh, the construct form with the tsere he vowel at the end. Reuven being the absolute noun, the proper noun, Reuben, hence the camp of Reuben. Third, vowel reduction is very common in construct forms. Again, a vowel reduction is a sense a shortening, as a full vowel sound becomes instead a schwa. Comets in tsere, in unstressed open syllables. Remember, an open syllable is one that goes consonant vowel but does not have another consonant to close it. In unstressed syllables that are open, comets in tsere will tend to reduce to a vocal schwa. For instance, the absolute form, shalom, peace, in construct becomes shalom. Sha is an open syllable, sh, and then a with a long a. In that case, because it is an open syllable and unstressed, it becomes sh, shalom. For instance, Psalm 122:6, Shalom Yerushalayim, the peace of, the construct's form, Yerushalayim, the absolute form, the peace of Jerusalem. This vowel reduction will commonly occur alongside others of the changes that we are detailing in this section. For instance, we have davar, a word, in the absolute form, devar in the construct form. You see 2 changes here, one in each syllable. In the second syllable, var, you've had the shortening of the vowel from comets to patak. And in the first syllable, da, you've had the vowel reduction from da to duh, devar. For instance, Genesis 15:1, devar Adonai, word of, construct form, Adonai, absolute form. And because Adonai is a definite noun, being a proper noun, the word of the Lord. Such vowel reduction also will commonly trigger the rule of schwa that we discussed early on in the chapters of this grammar. For instance, the absolute form, devarim, when you remove the mem and change the vowel, you would expect a construct form de-v-re, with the vowel reduction of the comets in an open syllable to schwa. As you'll remember from the rule of schwa, however, Hebrew almost never will tolerate two vocal schwas in a row. The rule of schwa then means the first becomes a hirek and the second becomes silent. Div re. For instance, 2 Chronicles 18:12. Div re hanavi'im. So div re, construct noun, plural, words of, ha, the definite article, and then nevi'im, prophets, the absolute noun, the words of the prophets. Fourth, diphthongs, which we discussed in chapter 4, section 2, clusters said as a single sound, will tend to contract. The diphthong ave will contract to a holum, o. Mavet in the absolute form, death, but mot, construct form, death of, spelled in this case and most commonly with a mater. Mot Yehoshua, Judges 1:1. Death of, the construct form, Yehoshua, the absolute form, Joshua. Because Joshua is a proper noun, the death of Joshua. The diphthong aye will contract to its sere, as in bayet, absolute form, a house, but beit, construct form, house of. For instance, from 2 Samuel 3:1, Beit Shaul, the house of Saul. Beit, the construct form, Shaul, the absolute form, the proper noun, hence the house of Saul. Fifth, segulate nouns, which we discussed in section 6.1, will show their original vowel patterns. You remember that when we discussed segulates, we mentioned that they come from three different origins: katal, kittel, and kutel forms, with an A class, I class, and U class vowel. In the plural, these three different forms become apparent in the construct. For two examples, in the katal form, consider the absolute melakim, kings. In the construct, we drop the mem, we get the sere yod ending, but the cause of the loss of the mem causes a re-syllabification of the word to mal-ke, a now two-syllable word, and the original katal form shows up. For instance, Numbers 31:8, mal-ke midyan. Construct form, mal-ke, shows the original katal sense of this noun, which was hidden by the vowel reduction in melakim, the kings of Midian. For an example from the katal form, we have ahalim, tense in the absolute, but ahale, tense of in the construct. Ahale Shem in Genesis 9:27, the tense of Shem. Participles, which we covered in the previous chapter, you will recall have both a verbal and a nominal or adjectival nature. The nominal and adjectival nature of the participle means that a participle can also be placed in the construct state by following the same patterns we have been discussing in this section. For instance, Ecclesiastes 12:3, Shomerei Habayit, the keepers of the house. Shomerei is a kal active participle, masculine plural, in the construct state as seen by the ending a. And then habayit is the definite article plus the noun bayit, house. The phrase then is the keepers of the house. Ecclesiastes 5:9 has ohev kesef, a lover of money. Ohev is a kal participle, active, masculine singular, from the verb ahav in the construct form, and then kesef is the absolute noun, a lover of money.